Welcome to Formula Fanatics, the high-octane sub-series of break-fix podcasts, Drive Thru motorsports news. This is your pit stop for all things Formula One, from breaking headlines and race recaps to insider analysis and paddock buzz. Whether you're a die-hard tifoso, a Red Bull loyalist, or just love the thrill of wheel-to-wheel racing, we've got you covered with up-to-date F1 news delivered at full throttle. Strap in, because the lights are out and we're underway. This is Formula Fanatics.
All right, it's time to talk about Formula One. So where did we leave off last month, Tanya?
Where did we leave off last month? What was last month?
Well, I think we left off with Ferrari winglets over the exhaust are going to be banned. I didn't even know they had winglets over the exhaust.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently more winglets are being removed. I don't know what the problem is with all that. What is this?
So the next race in line was was Austria.
Yeah.
You said you took copious notes on these races this time.
At Austria. No, I didn't for Austria. I did for British.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll get to Silverstone. So Austria, we had qualifying shenanigans. Russell was on the pole yet again. So Kimi and George Russell fighting as always. And then it ended up being Russell, Leclerc, Hamilton, Kimi, and Verstappen, and then all the McLarens after that. So that was the qualifying order for Austria. So this is Red Bull's home track. Verstappen should have the home court advantage. Like you would think they practice here all the time. Aston and Caddy in the back, as we expect, with Williams right in front. I mean, they're all just sucking wind back there. It's terrible. But Kimi goes off. This is the one where he's going off the track all the time. Like he's widening the track and doing all this stuff. And it's like, what is he doing? He's just cooking the turns. He's going in way too fast. This is where the Toto quote comes from. If you remember, Tanya, we laughed about this because after the race, Toto said something to the effect of, I've said it before, we want a driver to be on full attack all the time. You can't accelerate a donkey, but you can calm down a racehorse.
Mm-hmm.
I walked away from that going, did Toto just call Russell a donkey? He's an ass? Is that what I understood? Because I don't disagree. Bottas on lap 3 declares that his brakes are on fire. And he's done. He's in the pits. Extinguishers are putting out the fire.
Did Bottas get out of the car and strip to his underwear and run around screaming he's on fire?
I mean, that was not in the shot, but I have a feeling he did that anyway.
That sounds like something he would have done.
And I thought to myself as I was watching this, I was like, here's Brad singing, built to last, Duralast. Built to go last. That's what Duralast is. So that's what they're using on that Cadillac. All right. So Hamilton gets around Leclerc. Lawson also claims that his car is on fire, but then he continues driving at full race speed, which made no sense. I don't know if that was editing of the radio stuff. So Perez also complains of smoke in the cockpit. That was lap 5. We've made it to lap 5. We got 3 cars that are claiming to be on fire.
Well, that was Perez smoking his cigarettes.
Does he smoke?
I don't know.
Camel, like the old days, like the real racers do. So I was doing the math roughly. Tanya and I were going back and forth. Austria is 2.668 miles long. They're doing that in 1 minute and 11. That is fast. Holy smokes. That is a fast track. That is a fast lap. Hammy and Verstappen have a battle, which was pretty good. And then they pit on lap 13 because the tires suck. By lap 25, Sainz is out. Kimi pits, and he should have waited to pit because there was a VSC. There was all that nonsense shenanigans that were going on, and he would have maintained position. Tanya asked me during this, should Carlos seek other employment? I don't remember why you made that comment, but you were like, Carlos Sainz needs to find another job. Let's see. They pit Hamilton, and they put him on softs, which put him onto a 3-stop strategy. It made 0 sense. Ferrari being Ferrari and taking everything Brad said last time and flushing it down the toilet. He does not stand a chance. I'm telling you. They're going to screw him every time they can.
Well, what I said last time was who has a better chance of winning a championship, Hamilton or Verstappen?
Well, at this rate, neither of them. But hey, whatever.
That's not true.
Well, I'm not talking about just this year. I'm just who gets their next championship
Yeah, yeah.
first, Hamilton or
I mean,
Verstappen?
Hamilton's currently second in points, so
Kimi is going to get the championship. That's what's going to happen.
Still doesn't qualify for my question, but okay.
I always have to announce this, Brad. You'll be happy to know that on lap 47, Stroll retired his car. Made it to lap 47. Let's see. Kimi pits once again before a VSC, but the VSC amounted to nothing. So that was like a wah-wah moment. And I love the fact, I remember which of the announcers it was. Maybe it was Coulthard. I don't know if you can remember, Tanya. But the announcer had said that Aston is pig slow. And Alonso was holding up Russell on lap 70, which was absolutely amazing. I was like, keep doing it, buddy. Keep doing it. And then in the end, the finishing order was Russell, Verstappen, Antonelli, Piastri, and then Hamilton fifth. Hamilton fifth. There you go, Brad. So, Tanya, you took copious notes for Silverstone. Let's compare notes. Let's see what you have.
let's see. Let me find said notes. So, my first note I wrote down was that Alonso almost retired on the formation lap.
Yes. Yes. Starts from the pit lane. Yeah.
Quality.
Aston Martin.
I don't remember my note of why Ferraris jump Antonelli on pole.
Because he stalled, like always. Or, I mean, he didn't stall, but he had a crap start. So Hamilton got around him.
Well, they got around him, okay.
Yeah, so the starting order was Antonelli, Hamilton, Leclerc, and Russell. So it was just
okay.
Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari, Mercedes.
But then Hamilton ended up with a 5-second penalty because apparently he moved on start.
Yes.
Whatever. And then we made it not 10 laps before we had complaints from Russell.
Yes.
About his gearbox.
I couldn't find the McLarens because they changed the color.
Piastri got front wing damage.
Yep.
Cadillac somehow ends up in like 15th and 16th position for a lap. For a lap.
So at this point, I wrote a note that said, did Hulkenberg and Bortoleto, did they switch cars for this race? Because Bortoleto was 11th and Hulkenberg was 19th.
Yeah.
Didn't he podium at Silverstone last year?
I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, but if he did, it was like a weird fluke thing.
Wasn't it a different car too?
Sauber, still Sauber.
No, but I thought he was like the backup driver. Like, he was filling in for somebody else who was sick, or was that like another year?
No, Hulkenberg podiumed last year because I think everybody else wrecked or something like that.
But he was filling in for a driver who was ill and couldn't drive.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Because I don't think he was actually on the roster last year, which is why Audi picked
No,
him
he
up
drove
this year.
last year. He 100% drove.
Oh, he
last
did?
year.
Then I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about it. I guess it must have been the year before then.
Yeah. All right. So the 5-second penalty, and then lap 17, Verstappen passes Russell, and then Max heads to the pits, which I thought was a terrible waste. He spent all that time trying to catch Russell, get around him, and then he immediately ducks into the pits.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb. That messed him up, basically. That cost him everything.
And then lap 22, we had that virtual safety car because of that umbrella.
Yes, that was funny. And only one person was able to pit off that. Like Ocon had great luck to be able to go in. But then this is when Hamilton starts falling back because he had to serve the penalty. So
Correct.
Russell ends up around him.
Correct.
And then Leclerc ends up in first at this point. But
Correct.
Kimi is behind him. And he's like on it. He's coming. He's coming for him.
And then there's a battle between Hamilton and Russell behind Verstappen. That's around lap 30. And then Russell ends up with a puncture on lap 35, and he starts dropping back and dropping back. He drops back to like 7th. And then there was the maneuver because they needed to pit Antonelli, and he almost hits the Audi as he's coming into the pit. He did this. Remember, he dove inside of him, and he was like in a precarious spot. And then we thought, oh man, they're going to penalize him because he came in hot, and the Audi was like dropped anchor, like right in front of him. So he was trying not to hit him. And it was Hulkenberg because he was driving Bortoleto's car. And then he loses 7.7 seconds to Leclerc because of that, because he had to
Correct.
avoid the Audi and do all that shenanigans.
But if you paid attention, the next lap, he had already gained 2 seconds.
And then Hamilton gets around Verstappen. And then the next lap after that, Hulkenberg's Audi breaks and causes a virtual safety car because it's so reliable, said no one.
And not that anybody cares, but Lance Stroll's getting a 5-second track limits penalty.
Because he violated the track limits 5 times. That man is not that fast to be violating track
Who
limits.
cares? He's laps down. He's so far behind. Let him drive and everywhere he wants. It won't make a difference.
So then there's the stupidity with yet another Kimi
hitting.
They changed the nose of the car, which cost him time.
Well, he started falling back, and then they thought something was wrong with the car.
Yes.
So he goes in the pit. They go to replace the wing. And then, of course, he loses all his positions. But then he's still slow, and he gets passed by Lando. And then he has it controlled off. And he's like, my suspension's broken. And then there's all this back and forth.
About the wheel shield. They kept telling him it was the wheel shields or something.
Well, it was. And then they're like, no, it's the wheel shield thing. And he's like, but the car's not turning. So then they have him pit again to take that wheel shield off. But then at that point, he's like in 10th place and it's lap 45.
And then the FIA penalizes him for going off track, even though he couldn't control the car. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he kept having track limits, but he couldn't control the car. And that was a whole big to-do because it's like in this situation, he's not gaining anything. And it's clearly like a problem. He's not doing it intentionally. But anyway, he gets that 5-second penalty. So he's like a man on a mission, desperate. Oh man, I felt so bad for him. It was like the old days where it was like, you know, he's trying so hard. He's going to go out there. He only has one gear, but he's going to Schumacher this thing to the end. And he's going to keep going, you know, those kind of things. Despite everything, he was creeping the gap. That he would have maybe made the 5 seconds to stay, at least to get the 1 point of 10th position. But then Max loses it.
Yep. Lap 48.
Loses it into the gravel. And then we go into this 5-lap debacle of yellow flag and getting the car out. And then we got to wait constantly for the fucking Aston Martins, who are 9 laps down, to circle back around to the front. And then by that time, everyone got super excited. And we're going to have a 1-lap shootout. And then it was like, and we're done. So at that point, then it was over because Kimi had no chance of, you know, having that 5 seconds, 5-second gap to keep a point. So
my girls watched Silverstone with me, and as we were getting towards the end and they were in that behind the safety car for all those last 4 or 5 laps, my littlest one goes, Dad, is this how the race is actually going to end? And I said, yeah, honey, this is it. We're going to watch them putt around the track for the last 5 laps because they're not going to
so
go
the
green again.
important thing to note, though, I guess, is the Ferrari strategy. And they were damned if they did and damned if they didn't. And they ended up damned because they pitted Lewis to go on softs, thinking they were going to restart the race. Yes. And Russell did not. So Russell ends up second because Hamilton pitted and they never restarted the race.
They should have never done that. He had enough life in those mediums. He should have been fine.
That was rather unfortunate too. So after all that, the Russell's got the puncture. He falls all the way behind. He somehow ends back up on the podium.
Second. So it ended up being Leclerc for a win, Russell second, Hamilton third. So Hamilton podium. Yay for you, Brad. Hamilton podium. And Kimi ends up 9th, but the penalty forces him back to 16th spot.
15th. Yeah. He ends up in 15th.
Which gives like Audi points for the first time ever or something garbage like that.
No, it was their second time having points.
Yeah, but they didn't earn them. It's like whatever.
They still would have had the points because Kimi wasn't in front of them. So whether he was 10th with the 5-second penalty or not, Bortoleto was still in 8th.
He was catching them though. He was catching.
And even if Kimi was still at the front, Bortoleto would have still had points.
But the sad part is, I thought Mercedes would have contested the penalty and tried to regain the points for Antonelli, especially manufacturers' points too. They didn't even bother to argue about it. They just let it go.
Well, they probably know better.
They probably received guidance that said, let it go.
I don't understand. All right. So while all that was going down, Brad, you'll be delighted to know Breaking news. Christian Horner has been in conversation with Aston Martin yet again. The most unhirable person in Formula One might end up with a job at the worst team in Formula One. What do we think?
Seems fitting. Although I thought Cadillac was the worst team.
Aston's way worse. They gotta be way worse.
They just got major upgrades.
Oh, God.
Major upgrades for Hungary. And the major upgrades were so good that in FP1, Lance Stroll's suspension broke and sent him spinning.
He did that to himself. That had nothing to do with the car. That was just him being him. Any rate. All right. So Christian Horner talking to Aston. I think that's a recipe for failure, but whatever. So let's talk about Spa. Classic legacy track. Doesn't matter. 24 hours of Spa. Formula One. Spa is one of the kings, right? It's up there with Le Mans. It's up there with the Nürburgring. Spa is Spa. If you don't know what Spa is, I don't know why you're a motorsport fan. But Kimi on the pole. Yeah. Right where he belongs. Going into that terrible turn one where it's just like straight up Forza chaos going into turn one. But it was a cloudy day on race day. Max Verstappen second place. Look at that. Good. Max is coming back because of the improvements they've been making to the car and stuff. The Aston started the race 6 seconds behind, with Cadillac only 3 seconds behind. And Stroll was DFL. Absolutely last. So that's their qualifying times, right? 6 seconds back, 3 seconds back, and then Stroll dead last. So the best part of Spa, like I didn't need to watch anything past, what is that, turn 4? Tanya? Russell in the weeds on the first lap.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He tried to close the door on Hamilton, and Hamilton showed him the wall. He said, rubbing is racing, baby. Bye-bye. DNF. DNF. I don't know why there was so much satisfaction to see Russell plus the word out for like the entirety of the race. It was just so gratifying to see that on the standings as we were watching. Russell's out. Lewis gets a 5-second penalty, but it took him like a half an hour to make a decision on whether or not they were going to penalize it. Like we had all forgotten about it. We're like, Russell's in the woods. Who gives a shit? Move on with life. Hamilton's doing his thing. And then the FIA is like, oh yeah. Because of that, 5-second penalty. You're like, oh, come on, guys. Like, really? We've got nothing else better to do. So Ocon gets a puncture. Then Piastri and Leclerc collide. That was a whole other thing. Followed by a radio call from Perez in the Cadillac. I think my suspension is broken. These Cadillacs are hot garbage. Are they being made with like advanced auto parts? Like, what are we doing here?
They're built for tough.
Is that what it is? And then there was a whole virtual safety car pit shenanigans. That's what I wrote down, at least. Then the moment of moments. Tanya, you're going to have to explain this one. So Hamilton comes into the pit. This is like later in the race. This is after all the dust settles. He serves his penalty, blah, blah, blah. They're doing tires. And then what happens?
So what you see is basically when they go back and they replay it, because it didn't make sense where he came out. And then they go back and they replay it and you see him like hitting his pit guy. And so then what was revealed at the end was basically he had called in, he needed a wing adjustment. That didn't get communicated to everybody. So when they did the tire change and everything, they green lit him. So him seeing the green light, he went because that's what they're all trained to do. Except the wing guy, the wing adjuster guy, had gotten the message to adjust the wing. So he stepped out in front of the car to do the wing adjustment. So he got hit a little bit. He was fine. But then there was a penalty there, possibly for Hamilton. Then that ended up being a time penalty because they found him not at fault, but they did fine Ferrari. I think 30,000 something.
Who gets that money?
I don't know.
Ferrari gave $30,000 to who? What did the FIA do? Did they give it to the guy that got hit by the car? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Where does that money go?
Doesn't it go into like the pooled like prize purse that gets distributed amongst the teams at the end of the year based on their points?
Like
The
maybe,
constructors stuff.
No idea.
maybe. I just didn't understand. Like, where does that money go? I mean, they find drivers in the past too for other things, and it's like, for swearing or something like that. But I was just like, I don't know where that money goes. It's very curious.
Before we move on, when an F1 team is fined, the money is paid directly to the FIA and they then distribute it to like grassroots projects, education and training, and member clubs and stuff. So the short answer is the FIA gets the money directly.
Charitable donation.
And they do whatever they want with it.
And then they do whatever they want with it.
So that's how you lease a Rolls Royce. So, by the way, Brad, just want to let you know, Lance Stroll, lap 26.
Lance Stroll, what?
Lap 26. That's when he retires the car. Our reigning champion, Lando Norris. They talked about Silverstone, 564,000 fans in the Lando Norris fan zone at Maggots and Beckett's and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Champion. Lando has done jack of all this year.
Yeah, you don't hear his name very often at all.
They don't show him that much either, unless he's dicing with Kimi or somebody else that actually matters.
Because they're saying the McLarens aren't competitive yet, but they got upgrades also.
I think Lando is not competitive, and I think last year was rigged, but I'm just going to leave that where it is. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's got to be really hard to be a Lando fan because as a reigning champion, it's not coming together. I mean, we can make the excuses, but McLaren is all about their preparedness. Like that's their thing is, you win the race before the race starts because of all your preparation and your planning and your this and your that and the other thing. And it's not coming together for them. So I don't know what's going on, but you're right, Brad. There is not a lot of TV coverage when it comes to McLaren. Piastri, if you don't think Lando's getting coverage, Piastri, he might as well not even be there. Barely talk about him. And last year was all Piastri, and Lando and all that kind of things. So anyway, lap 34, Kimi retakes the lead. Takes the lead at Spa. He takes it away from Leclerc. There is a little battle between Hamilton and Piastri. In lap 40, Hamilton is back up to 4th place. So good for Hammy. And then Kimi takes home his 6th victory. He wins Spa. I mean, that's a feather in your cap to win Spa. So it's Kimi, Leclerc, Verstappen, and then Hamilton, somewhere down there, 4th and beyond. Lando came in 7th. Just want to point that out in case anybody was keeping track. And Audi, exactly where we expect him to be, 8th and 13th. Not getting any better, not getting any worse.
I keep saying they're going to be solidly in the middle. Well, unless these Aston Martin upgrades and McLaren upgrades.
I think Aston Martin's goal with their upgrades is just to finish a race.
Yeah, I would agree. At this point, yes, I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
That's the upgrade they can finish.
Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to close out our Formula One chat. I want to bring this up. Brad, we talked about the Crocs in the past. Have you seen this? Costco Formula One merchandise. This is amazing. Look at this thing. Not only is this a pool floaty, it has joysticks and a propeller. You can go around your lazy river, your Olympic-sized pool, your buddy, whatever it is, the water park, with a powered Formula One floaty. What do you think about that?
I must have one.
Feel like I need to get one even though I don't. I'll put it in the bathtub and just make vroom vroom sounds. I mean, look at this thing.
I mean, I was kind of thinking like you could just sit in it and watch TV.
And still make vroom vroom sounds. I mean, this is so good. I wonder what it costs.
$300.
Does
the
it really?
price was right there.
It's in the video.
Oh, I missed it. I'm too mesmerized by looking at the guy in this thing, but yeah.
Sorry, I was still trying to find that F1 pool float, but I think it's AI generated. I don't think it's real.
There's so many pictures of it though.
I understand, but none of them are motorized. You can buy the float. I don't see any of them that are actually motorized.
Oh, I'd still want one. It is popping up all over the place, though. I mean, this is going on the holiday shopping guide. This is the must-get item of the year. Your Formula One pool floaty. And you know what, Brad? In order to go to the pool, you got to wear Crocs. You got to wear your Crocs to the pool so you can use your Formula One pool floaty. Boom. Solved it. Tanya, you brought something else up here, though. There's some other Formula One merchandise coming to the table. Am I wrong? This is from Kroger.
Well, it's Old Spice, but I found it on the Kroger website. There's also the red Formula One car version sold somewhere else, but apparently Old Spice has a deodorant collection. It's the F1 collection Red Line. or fast track?
What do we think this smells like?
Desperation.
Oh, so it's the Aston Martin one then.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's 3 in the Formula One. There's Red Line Rodeo, Coastal Curves, which is that one, and then Royal Rush.
I want to smell these. Oh, they have soap too. Look.
I was going to say, they also have body wash and bar soap.
Wow. This is a cool gift. Is this all limited production stuff though? Because I got to get it like now then.
It's probably, I would assume so, because I think they have different collections.
Can you order from Kroger online? I wonder, can you order from Old Spice online?
Well, I couldn't find it on their website,
Let's search.
but I bet you can find it. I'm sure you can order it somewhere.
Well, if they would stop popping up ads everywhere trying to get me to buy it. I know they changed their branding recently because I saw that.
I could not find it on their main website, which is what I was trying to do earlier.
Dang. I'm gonna have to get me some Old Spice Formula One products. I did notice that there was a bunch of World Cup. Dove is doing a World Cup thing, so it kind of makes sense that Old Spice might try to compete with them and do something Formula One related. So that's super cool. You know, if you could get your hands on some, it'd still make a good stocking stuffer. Soap doesn't go bad if you buy it now. So you can hang on to it, give it to somebody later in the year. I think it's a good plan. All right. There's actually 4 races in July, but we're going to cover Budapest in the next episode. That way we have something to talk about along with the silly season, and we look forward to talking about, you know, the second half of a very long Formula One season, even though we missed 2 races with your pool floaty.
The Drive Thru is our monthly news episode and is sponsored in part by organizations like CollectorCarGuide.net, Project Motoring, Garage Style Magazine, the Exotic Car Marketplace, and many others. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor of the Drive Thru, look no further than www.motoringpodcast.net. Click About and then Advertising. Thank you again to everyone that supports the Motoring Podcast Network, Grand Touring Motorsports, our podcast Break Fix, and all the other services we provide.